Good morning. I cannot believe it is Sunday again, and I have spent today. I thought I would do something a little different during these 3 minutes before we actually get started, and thought I would show you what I do to get ready for the Facebook Live every Sunday morning or before I go on. As most of you know, I'm reaching down to get this. My goal is to remain in my sacred space with all of the stuff outside and harmony and balance inside. So that is my intent. And to get there, for those of you again who follow me and have been with me for a long time, it's so wonderful to see so many of you already online. I've already used all the oils of the Rainbow Healing, the single oils and the blends, to get myself in that space. And during these 3 minutes, as I said, I've been spending the whole morning. I thought I would show you what I actually do. Now, I have oils all around me. I have the oils of the Feelings collection, which we will talk about today later. I have my crystals of the spheres. What I have been doing mainly is, first of all, last week we talked briefly about pairing of the ways. Stephen's favorite way of clearing his energy out quickly, raising his frequency level. So I'm going to just remind you, because I'm doing it for myself as well. And I'm going to use today White Angelica on my hands first. As many of you know, White Angelica is a blend that Gary Young created especially to provide protection. So I'm going to breathe this in at least 3 times. I personally prefer to do it 6 or 8 or 10 times, because that is going to get oxygen throughout my system and raise my frequency right there. And then just moving the hands. You can do this with me, whether you have an oil or just doing your hands, until you feel the tingling in between them. And when you feel that tingling, you may want to move them a little bit farther apart. And when you're ready, then we're going to rake over from the crown to the back, the crown down the face and on the sides, at least 3 times on each place. And then you may feel that the tingling is gone. So let's repeat this. I like to repeat it about 3 times. Stephen always talks about our energy, that when things come in to lower our frequency, it's usually through the crown, through the head, and we pick up stuff. Just like we last week talked about the sacred space and keeping our home, keeping all that stuff out of our homes, and stuff collects there. Well, it collects on us as well. So we're just clearing this out a little bit before we get started and brushing over our field. Okay? Already I feel lighter. I feel like, wow, it has really created a change. Those of you who can see energies may witness actually the visible result of doing this. So, what am I going to do next? I'm going to spend another little bit of time. I thought I would use the Northern Lights Black Spruce. Just 1 drop. Breathe it in, rub my hands. And I'm going to use just a little bit of sound healing. And I'm going to rub my striker. It's wooden. It doesn't have the fabric over it, which makes it easier to play a bowl. This is a a bowl that actually the Manku gave to me, and it has a beautiful sound. It changes according to the energy in the room. So we'll see what comes up today. And I like to run up and down my body as well. Sometimes I will do this for 20 or 30 minutes. I also have a beautiful bell that is actually gold inside that Manku got from me as well. Many, many years ago. I've had this bell for over 10 years. And ringing it, sound is going to improve the frequency. And now I feel that I'm ready to actually begin. So happy Sunday, and I hope you have had a wonderful week discovering, what's in your space that you did not think was there. I certainly have had that experience, and all of us are in a period of gigantic change right now. And most of us may have started out really strong, feeling, I'm going to make this work. Some of you may have been a little angrier that you had to make such massive changes in your life. And many of you are getting to the point where later this week, you're going to be able to go back out and spend more time with others in the physical, as opposed to just online. We had a jolt. Those of you in Singapore had a major jolt probably on Tuesday night when the Prime Minister announced that instead of the lockdown, the circuit breaker, ending on the 1st of June, on the 1st of May, it was being extended another month. This may have really brought you down quite a bit. I know we look forward to things, and when we have that disappointment, sometimes it is more difficult than if we just kind of in our mind had our mind set on it to begin with. However, change is what life is about. Change, flexibility, the ability to be flexible in all situations. And so, again, those of you who follow me know that these first 4 glyphs of the rainbow healing are all about preparing you for change. It never gets too old to go back and remind yourself that the first thing we must do is to get rid of blocks. Well, this pairing of the ways is going to assist us in getting rid of blocks. Then we must choose to run our own energy, not to take on energy from others, but to really understand and to really move our own energy the way it is supposed to be, the way we were created to be. Then that third step is to really look at ourselves, to take the masks off and pay attention. And then to nurture whatever we find as we're removing these masks. So as we do these steps, and if you're not familiar with the steps, you can download our app and understand what I'm talking about. But as we are doing these steps over and over again, we're preparing ourselves for whatever changes are there. Now, most of you know that I am the voice of positivity. Stephen tells me I live in my flower world, which I love my flower world. I love being in my sacred space. However, that does not mean we do not have barnacles and things coming in from time to time that we have to deal with. And our emotions are where we are feeling these things. So that's why we are doing the feelings collection today. As we are attempting to be positive, many times we are stuffing down the actual emotions. Would you agree? I know that I have found that to be the case for me because I do not choose to put negativity out into the world. So sometimes I start looking at things a little deeper, but I don't continue. So now while we are living differently, we have an opportunity that has not happened before to really get down and look at what is causing. What are we truly feeling? Now, the feelings collection that Gary put together many years ago, 25 years ago, was actually 12 blends, amazing 12 blends. However, as the oils became more expensive, he found that people were not really using all 12 of them. So he really did a lot of study and a lot of meditation, and his messages, finally he whittled it down into just 6 blends. Although any of you who know Gary Young know that he rarely stopped at 6, okay? That's kind of the basis. That's just the very, very minimal to use. So today we're going to use those blends, and we're going to use them. He had many different orders that he would do them. He never did them all the same way every time, and neither do I. He also had many different applications. So today I'm kind of combining his oils, the feelings collection, with the neuroauricular technique which he taught, only we're going to do it on ourselves because we are available to ourselves. The first time that I taught this in Singapore, and I guess it was about 2007, right after he had whittled down the collection to only 6 blends. It was an amazing session. Everyone had amazing things just because they focused on themselves and breathing in the oils and applying them. So today I'm going to start the way that Gary usually started his sessions, with Valor. This is the Valor 2 that happens to be in the blend, in the collection that I have right now. And I'm going to just apply it on my hands, breathe it in, dip my fingers into it so it's on my fingertips. And I'm going to put it around my ears now. The ears have so many reflex points. Now, you can go through, you can pick up a resource and read about where the different acupressure points are on the ear and catch them all, or you can just do the whole ear. It isn't important for you to know exactly which points you're hitting, just hit them all. If you find a place, I'm squeezing my ears a little bit, and if you find a place that is a little tender, you may choose to rub that a little bit longer. Now, I'm going to take off my earrings because I kind of forgot that I would be rubbing my earlobes, and I don't choose to have them in the heart point right now. I do love having them because my earrings are some that have the glyph, the 9th glyph, which is the harmony glyph. And I love having that harmony glyph right up here in my ears next to my head. And these are silver, by the way. So, and as I apply this oil, if I'm not talking, I am intending to have the courage to dig deeper. because so often we do stop before we really get down to the root, to the emotional root. Everything in our whole physical and energetic body is related to emotions. Our physical form is a history of every event in our lives, of every emotion that we have attached to those events. So as we are digging deeper, it may not be easy. Fortunately, we're still kind of social distancing, so we have that opportunity to be alone. Now you may say, there's no way I can be alone in my house. I have children running around, my husband, we have lots of people confined. Somewhere you can find a place to spend 20 to 30 minutes by yourself. If it's in the bathtub or wherever it is, if you have to get up in the middle of the night. There was a time when I used to get up in the middle of the night just so I had some alone time when no one was pulling at me. Now I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to create my alone time just about whenever I choose. So after getting this courage to begin this, the very first step, just like the first glyph in rainbow healing to me, is to get rid of the blocks. And this is the glyph of forgiveness. And guess what? Forgiveness is one of the blends in the feelings collection. So as we apply some forgiveness, I'm going to apply it right over the brain stem. I put it here, and I'm going to suggest that if you start at your ears along the base of your skull and go in toward the center, there's a little soft place right in the middle. There's a little semicircle. It is up in the hairline. I'm so happy my hair is short now so I can reach it easier. So I use both hands. You can use one hand or two hands. I use both, or both fingers, okay? And I'm going to start at the ears, and I'm going to work my way in. And I'm going to do little circles like this. Now this is not circles like this, it's holding it and moving the tissue. As you do this, just intend that whatever blocks you have to those emotions, to facing those emotions, be cleared. I like to visualize the color of pink, because this is the color that anchors that frequency. And I'm going into the center, then I'm going down the sides of my neck just a little bit. You will also begin to feel, you can do this right along with me, you will begin to feel those muscles relaxing, that tension leaving, or at least getting less. And as you're breathing in this oil, intend to forgive yourself for whatever you have done or have not done in any situation. Each of us has a part in every interaction. So it is important, because most of us judge ourselves harshly. And we sit there and say, oh, I should have done this. I wish I had done that. I wish I had not done something else. The fact is, it's over. It's already passed. The forgiveness is what's going to unclog the flow through you of new things coming in. So until we have that forgiveness, nothing else will happen. The next blend that I am using today, and this is not the order I always use, but it is probably the order I use most of all, is release. Because not only do we have to release those blocks, we have to release our attachment to the way things were. Would you agree? So I'm going to do that very same thing. I'm going to apply it. I have the roller balls in here. And I'm going to put my fingers in here, and I'm going to put my fingers together, and I'm going to rub them together. And I'm going to, again, start. Now, if you want to do it with all your fingers, then you dip all your fingers. If not, just dip this one, get more. The idea is to get the oil into your body and intend. You might close your eyes and just intend to release, to let go of whatever it is, whether it's fear, whether it's beliefs that are worn out, that may never have really been right for you, or that just aren't right anymore because change has occurred. Change has occurred for every single one of us in a massive way. And we're all required to adjust to that change. As long as we keep fighting it, it's going to keep knocking us down because the wave is coming. It has reached us. So it's how we respond. Are we responsible in responding and letting go, releasing those things that truly are no longer serving us? Don't forget to breathe them in. It's hard for me to breathe in while I'm talking, but the more you breathe in your oils, each oil, each blend that we are using, one after another, is going to increase. It's going to layer the amount of energy that is going into us and the ability to move forward. So the next oil that I have sitting here today is Inner Child. And I've found myself using a lot of the Inner Child because being a child was not something that was easy for me, still isn't. I am what is known as a workaholic, okay? And it is very, very difficult for me to just be a child. Many of the challenges that each one of us is facing at any time likely have an attachment, a cord leading to some things that occurred when we were children or when we were much younger. And sometimes it is important to actually understand the original issue. However, my belief is that whatever we really are required to understand at any given moment is right around us if we are in the present moment. This is a huge thing for me because I have always been one to look back or to plan for the future. How many of you would say that you would have your plans a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, your plans would have put you where you are right this moment, doing the things that you have done in the last week or two? Most of us would not have envisioned this in any way. So let's bring ourselves into the present moment and intend. One of my great things is that intending to really pay attention to what is going on around us right this moment. To breathe in those frequencies of present time, intending to remain right here in the moment, to hear the messages that we are receiving right this moment, to understand them better, to pay attention. And then the sixth blend is harmony. I don't know about any of you, but I choose to have harmony in my life in every aspect of my life, all the time, because that is the number one, probably, it's always in the top 3 of my refinement list. Those things that I choose to have in my life, because harmony to me is essential for moving forward. Disharmony is one of those things I choose not to allow in my life because it creates stress for me. Whether it is dissonance in interactions with others, dissonance even in noises, loud noises that clash do affect me. Now, one of the things that we're going to probably talk, I don't know how long I've been talking for a while, sorry. So we'll probably continue more along these lines in the next few weeks. We'll talk more about boundaries. I just happen to have a mirror here to remind me of boundaries. One of the things that I definitely have slacked off of, I started out really, really strong in this during the beginning of this period of change where we all learn to stay in a lot more. And I would do my journaling, which is part of the morning alignment process and the evening integration. And I was writing in my journal very, very carefully, actually twice a day, because I had more time than I had been having. Well, after a few weeks, I found that that's the thing that I dropped off. What did I replace it with? Instead of going into my feelings right after I had applied oils and created my sacred space and made my strong connection with the source, instead of moving that even into a deeper way of digging deeper by writing in my journal, I found myself picking up my phone, looking at Facebook, answering messages, totally getting me out of the beautiful space that I had created earlier. So my commitment to myself this week is to journal every single day. I'm really excited also. This is the 2nd edition of my journal, and the 3rd edition, which has even more information in it, was just delivered from the printer on Thursday. So I have not even seen it other than on the computer. So I'm looking forward to someday it getting down here to Bali. But the point is not what you're writing in. It's wonderful to have the information, and this is why I love this so much, because there's so much information packed and it reminds you exactly what to do next. But to just write, and writing in your own handwriting will be far more effective in really digging into those emotions and understanding what is going on. Gary always said, write. The computer is good for getting things done quickly. However, writing in your own handwriting is essential. And he always had 4 or 5 or 6 notebooks going at the same time. And I am so grateful because Mary Young found about 150 notebooks that Gary had filled. And she is compiling information. So we're still receiving that information from Gary. And I am excited about reading what Mary writes. So don't feel that you ever have to write this for anyone else. But do take the time, and I challenge each of you to find a time, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or whenever it is, that you can spend that time alone to make that connection with the source, creating your sacred space, getting that harmony within, and then just writing. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Please, please message me things that come up, good or bad, anything you would like to share. I do read my messages and love to hear from you. So have a beautiful week filled with lots and lots of clearing energy. And I'll see you next Sunday.